Al-Albani and others. Then, when they start investigating, they realize these people are reading the books of Maududi, Sayyid Qutb, that have been put into Arabic. Well, Sayyid Qutb, his books were in Arabic, like Ma'alim fi Tariq, milestones. Tafsir, or it's not really a tafsir, but it is like Fi Dhalail al-Quran, which is a commentary on the Quran of Sayyid Qutb. When they investigate in these books, they're shocked. In Kitabu mein kya likha hua hai? The whole ummah is in a time of jahiliyyah, worse than the jahiliyyatul ula. This is ummah ghaiba, ummat hai bhi nahi. Sayyid Qutb is saying this. Sayyid Qutb is saying the ruler is a kafir, and every mu'adhin and every imam who works under the ruler wo bhi kafir hai. Why? Because he's coming under the same taghut who is ruling over them. The ulama didn't know that these were in the books of Sayyid Qutb. Why? Because these ulama are teaching Wasatiyya, Ibn Taymiyyah. They are teaching Madarij al-Salikin of Ibn Qayyim. They are teaching Tafsir Ibn Kathir. They are teaching Kitab al-Tawheed. They are teaching the books of the A'imma, Usul al-Sunnah, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Al-Lalaka'i. They are teaching the books of the great scholars. Yes, Sayyid Qutb is just an author. So when they look into these books, they say, so where are they getting this from? Then they find these are their teachers, Muhammad Qutb. So one of the sheikhs of this movement, which is a Qutbi movement, was Safar al-Hawali. So Safar al-Hawali, Saudi, living in Mecca, professor or a doctor. He had a PhD in Aqidah. Who was his sheikh? Muhammad Qutb. Muhammad Qutb, son of younger brother of Sayyid Qutb. He writes a book, ظاهرات الإرجاء في فكر الإسلامي. The emergence of irja in Islamic thought. This book, the whole of the book is attacking the manhaj of the ulama like Al-Albani and Bin Baz and others. This is where it begins. Who wrote the introduction to the book? Muhammad Qutb. So the scholars now are joining the dots. So Sheikh Muhammad Aman Jami starts speaking. And he says, look at this, foreign ideologies that are against Islam. Sayyid Qutb, who says that Islam is just a concoction of Christianity and communism. That's what Islam is. If you look at Islam as an ideology, he says Islam as an ideology is just a perfection of communism and Christianity. The ulama say, yeah, kya hai? What kind of kufr statement is that? Then they look into Sayyid Qutb, and Sayyid Qutb starts attacking Uthman radiallahu anhu. He says Uthman was a bad leader and an example of a bad leader. So the ulama are saying, subhanallah, this is Sayyid Qutb. He's attacking Uthman. Why? Of leadership. He says Uthman took money from the Baytul Mal, embezzled funds, frauded funds from the Baytul Mal. Uthman put his relatives in charge. So he said, Sayyid Qutb said, we don't even consider the Khilafah of Uthman to be a Khilafah. Rather we say it is Abu Bakr and Umar and then Ali. Uthman, jaise, it didn't even exist. It is like a blip. He speaks about Musa alayhi salam. About Musa alayhi salam. That Musa is an example of an impetuous leader, impatient. Everywhere he goes, he just gets angry. Gussa aa jata isko. Ibn Uthaymeen said, Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, he said, what is this? Ye mazakh bana raha. Because he was almost like joking, making fun of Musa alayhi salam. He said, look how he took the tablets that Allah gave him and he broke them. Usne tod diye. So Sheikh bin Baz said, this is kufr, this is ridda. Ye kya? They didn't know this before that. When did it come out? After the first Gulf War, because these people saw an opportunity. Kuwait is getting dealt with, yani it's finished. We're going to start something in Saudi. So then they said, whoever does not judge by what Allah has revealed, then he's a kafir. Ye hukam sabhi kafir hai. Kyun? because they don't judge by what Allah has revealed. Allah said in the Quran, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. So they said, dekhe, whoever does not judge by what Allah has revealed, they are the kafirun. Allah ne kaha, Quran mein, Surah Ma'idah mein. But there are 3 ayat in Surah Ma'idah. Whoever does not judge by what Allah has revealed, humul fasiqoon. Wo fasik bhi ho sakta hai. And Abdullah ibn Abbas said, this is kufr dun kufr. Ye kufr nahi that takes you outside of Islam. But that's a different discussion. So yeah, all of this began to get exposed. So going back to your question, when it became exposed, Sheikh bin Baz refuted Sayyid Qutb. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen refuted Sayyid Qutb. Sheikh Rabi refuted Sayyid Qutb. Sheikh Al-Fawzan refuted Sayyid Qutb. Sheikh Al-Albani refuted Sayyid Qutb. Sheikh Ahmed Al-Najmi refuted Sayyid Qutb. Sheikh Zayd Al-Madkhali refuted Sayyid Qutb. Sheikh Muqbil refuted Sayyid Qutb. All of them refuted Sayyid Qutb and Maududi. Sheikh Rabi wrote books. Then the issue became clear. Ye jo aapke saath kar rahe, this is trickery. Because they're going back to before these ulama knew the haqa'iq and the realities of these jama'at. Same with Jama'at al-Tabligh. They did the same thing with Jama'at al-Tabligh. Because the scholars had good thoughts. Because Tablighi Nisab or Fadalul A'mal was not translated into Arabic at that time. Arabi mein nahi tha. It was translated into English, into Urdu, Hindi, Bengali, or Bangladeshi, har zaban mein, Farsi, everything, but not into Arabic. Because if you translate into Arabic, Arabi dekhenge. The ulama bhi dekhenge, ye kitab to has all of these mawdu'at, fabricated hadith and lies upon Allah's message, and some bid'ah and kufr in there also. So they never translated it. So what were Jamaat al-Tabligh doing in the Arab countries? Riyadh al-Salihin. So they were going into Saudi in the masajid. Acha, hum India se aaye hain. What are you going to read? We're going to read Riyadh al-Salihin. So husnul dhan, chalo Riyadh al-Salihin padhe to padhe. Up until they realized that when some of the ulama like Imam al-Tuwajiri and other ulama, they started investigating Jamaat al-Tabligh, and they realized Jamaat al-Tabligh is just a Sufi group. Not as bad as the Brelvis. Brelvis though, they went to even more ghulu. But they are Sufis. They don't believe in the ulu of Allah. They don't believe that Allah is above the 7 heavens over the throne. They are Maturidis in Aqidah. This is completely against the madhab of Ahlul Hadith and Salafiyah. So, what these people are saying to you, Sheikh bin Baz, he made dua, he said read their book. Yeah, this was before. But before Sheikh bin Baz died, rahimahullah, in Ta'if, a year or 2 before he died, Sheikh bin Baz was asked about Ikhwan al-Muslimin and Jamaat al-Tabligh. What they said to him, is Jamaat al-Tabligh and Ikhwan al-Muslimin from the 72 sects of dalala, of misguidance? He said, yes. They are from the misguided sects about which the Prophet ﷺ said, Kulluha finnar illa wahida. All of them into the fire except for one. That's what he said. So why don't they tell you that one? So what was the watershed? The first Gulf War. After the first Gulf War, you see all of these books coming out against Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Sayyid Qutb, Maududi, all of the fatwa of the Kibar ulama, Lajnatu Da'ima, everyone. And from Ikhwan al-Muslimin came Al-Qaeda. And from that came ISIS, Daesh. It is a conveyor belt to extremism. Bas. आप भी थक गए, मैं भी थक गया. Jazakumullahu khairan. We'll finish upon that note. I hope, inshallah, that you've benefited. Better. Acha.